Well, what this is leading to is over the weekend, Trump threatens 100% tariff on Canada if it makes a deal with China. And Carney pushes back. But let me read the first one first. If Governor Carney
Gotta love the guy.
of the 51st state, Canada, thinks he is going to make Canada a drop-off port for China to send goods and products into the U.S., he is sorely mistaken. China will eat Canada alive, completely devour it, including the destruction of their businesses, social fabric, and general way of life. If Canada makes a deal with China, it will immediately be hit with 100% tariff against all Canadian goods and products coming into the U.S. Thank you for your attention to this matter, President DJT. Rob, can you pull up the clip of Carney responding to this? Because obviously, if you remember, it looked like him and Carney were getting along because he chose Carney over Pierre Poilievre when Pierre lacked diplomacy. Everybody saw that when he would only eat the apple and not go meet with people. And here's Carney responding to the president.
How are you responding to Trump's threats of 100% tariffs?
Well, the first thing is that Canada respects our engagements, our commitments. Il y a des engagements dans l'ACM. We have commitments under CUSMA that not to pursue free trade agreements with non-market economies without prior notification. We have no intention of doing that with China or any other non-market economy. What we've done with China is to rectify some issues that developed in the last couple of years. In many respects, we're going, to use the expression, back to the future with respect to EVs, with respect to agriculture, with respect to fish products and other food products, but with additional protections. So, for example, back in 2023, we didn't have a cap on the number of EVs. We didn't have a requirement for a large proportion of those EVs to be affordable, highly affordable EVs for Canadians. So it's entirely consistent with CUSMA, with our obligations, which we very much
You can pause it right
respect.
there. Tom, what's going on here?
So let me translate that for you. China got Canada to agree to take BYD, which is the largest EV maker in the world by number of units, and to send over their $30,000 EVs, which is not going to be good for Tesla. But what Mark Carney is doing there is dancing around a simple truth. He went back and renegotiated with China, which he feels is a trade deal that's good for Canada, and that's how he's spinning it. Meanwhile, President Trump is pointing out that the $2.3 trillion economy of Canada, which is less than half of California, that, by the way, Rob, I don't know if you can find this in a flash. I didn't tell you. I believe, Pat, 21% of their GDP is what they import from us, and 17% of their GDP is what they export to us. So I think it's 36% of Canada's 2.3 trillion GDP depends on trade with the United States. So there it is. Imports from the U.S. constitute 19% of Canada's GDP. So it's like you're making a deal with China that Trump is trying to work with right now and corner, and yet 1/3 of your GDP depends on back and forth trade with the United States. Are you high? Do you not think that Trump's going to go, wait, what's he doing? Sir, he made some sort of conciliation deal with China, and he's going to take the low-cost EVs over into, what about General Motors EVs? What about Tesla EVs? Well, it's going to hurt them because they're bringing over the China car. And he says, what the hell is on his mind? Hang on, where's my phone? So it's like, and then here comes Trump. Governor Carney does it again. That's what's going on. He cut a deal with China when Trump's trying to corner China.
Humberto.
Let's trade Alberta for Minnesota. All right, that's what we that's the only trade that we need.
Straight up.
Straight up. Let's try it. We grab Alberta, they keep Minnesota, and we're even. I sent Rob a chart, and I got this from Tom, like to show, like, can you please try to find Canada on this map?
Let me look.
All right.
I can't.
Actually find Canada,
Oh my
Rob. Where is
God.
it?
It has to be really small.
There it is, up at the top at 12 o'clock.
Top right there.
All right, 12
And by the way,
o'clock.
United
Where?
States
2
last year
above,
was,
above USA,
I
Mexico.
see it.
that has grown. Canada's 2.3 and the United States is 31.
So what are we talking about? All right, like Trump said it. Like Canada depends on the U.S. They're nothing without us, and they're trying to play ball and get Chinese cars to their borders. Like I don't know. Like I think they look a lot bigger than they actually are. They shouldn't be even sitting at the table. Probably banned from Canada already. But it's not a good look at all.
But look at it from the position of China. Right, I was about to say Taiwan.
Taiwan.
If you look at the position of, and that's exactly where I was going. If you look at the position from China, China's probably sitting there saying, "Wait a minute, who's Canada to us? Taiwan. Why are you building relationships with them?" The U.S. is like, "Because we can." He said, "Well, I'm gonna do business with Canada," and U.S. is like, "No, you can't." And China says, "Why can't I?" And U.S. says, "Because Taiwan is a very different relationship. You're just trying to get to Canada to disrupt our relationship." And in this sense, you know, if Carney decides to play ball with China, which it looks like he's fallen for it, U.S. offers security, protection. U.S. offers so many different things. You know, Canada is safe by association. You know, it's like going to a nightclub with the toughest guy in the street thinking you're tough. You're not tough. You're safe because you went to the club with the toughest guy on the street. Go to that same club in the hood without that tough guy. You walking in a very different way. Make sense? That tough guy is America.
Yeah.
When you walk, he's like, "Hey, what's up? Yeah, and so what are you gonna do?" It's like, "Well, what are you? What are you gonna say something?"
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, America leaves. "Hi, how are you? How's everything? Family's good. How's your daughter doing? You didn't care about my daughter last year. Now you do." "Yeah, I really do. I always did."
Yeah,
"No,
we
you
saw
didn't."
your buddy leave. He didn't go to the bathroom. He left.
Yes. So I get what Trump is doing here. Man, my only thing is, let me tell you what my only concern. My only thing is, does he have enough time left to negotiate this aggressively? Does he have enough time left to continue negotiating this aggressively? I don't know. It's either he's got 10 months or he's got what? What's the other one? 34 months.
Oh, yeah.
That's what he's got left. 10 months or 34 months. Who knows what happens afterwards? Can you really get everything he wants to get done in the next 10 months or 34 months? Do you think he can? In the next 10 months or 34 months?
I believe in him.
You believe they can get everything done in the next 10 months or 34 months? Tom, what do you think?
No, I think we've now entered into the window of certain international parties are going to stall, because now they're saying, hang tight. All you have to do is get through the American summer, because then this guy's going to have trouble in the midterms, and then he's going to have to do different things on trade. I think that the China and others may be about to play that. I think he can get 40% of it, 50% of it done, Pat. But there's a couple big things I think are going to be really tough to get done before the midterms. And after the midterms, if they're too nasty, it makes it more difficult.
I agree. By the way, Rob, you ran a very good poll. If you can pull it up, they got 2,000 votes already. I think it's a good sample to look at. Rob ran a poll saying who needs who more. Canada needs the U.S. The U.S. needs Canada. They both need each other. Neither needs the other. Ready? 77% said Canada needs the U.S. 3% says the U.S. need Canada. 15% said they need each other. And 5% said neither needs each other. Okay? It's pretty wild when you look at that, because if you take out the last two options, they both need or neither needs, and you just take the top two, it would end up being around 96.5 to 3.5%. 96.5 Canada needs U.S., 3.5% U.S. needs Canada. Carney better kind of sit down and figure out how to negotiate with this guy in the U.S., or else, you know, this is just going to keep getting. By the way, look at what happened to it. It just went to 78.3. Wow. This is not looking pretty for Canada.
When it comes to the moves that we've seen Trump doing on defense, like we're talking about the Golden Dome, all right? Does Canada want to be outside the Golden Dome?
Protecting your family, your country
for free.
For free.
We're talking about Greenland.
For free,
Trump is not messing around the Arctic, Pat.
Yep.
And he's going to do everything that is in his power. This national defense.
And Canada needs great leadership. That's what Canada needs. You're talking about a country that has a GDP that is bigger than Russia. And you're talking about something that by comparison is small. But we have this robust trading partner. They need better leadership. There is a reason after those truckers were stopped there that when you're talking about trading Alberta, Albertans were saying, trade us. Albertans were saying, hey, you know what? We'll be ultra North Texas. Let's make a swap and and they weren't aware of what's going on in Minnesota, but Minnesota can go into the I've lost my mind Quebecois division and do it. But you have to remember, there's a country up there that's got a lot of conservative people that are in
Wonderful people.
Alberta in
Yeah.
particular, and they have built a GDP bigger than Canada. But right now, they've got terrible leadership. And the last election, you think we were in pain about our choices. Yep. They were in pain going, can you imagine the people that were moderate and conservative going, is Poilievre actually going to blow this? I can't believe this.
He did. It's one of the worst ever in the history of mankind, at least in our lifetime, with what he did. And honestly, I don't want to go and give him a hard time about it, but he's probably one of the...
We would never do that.
No, not right now. I don't want to do that. But, a guy connects me from Canada. And he doesn't want to leave Canada. He loves Canada. But he says, Pat, you have to realize in Canada, this is the fear people have in Canada. You can't say anything pro about Canada. God forbid you say anything pro about Canada, you won't even believe what happens to it. You say anything pro about Trump in Canada. Well, Trump's got a good point. Trump's got this. Trump's got that. Until they get over that fear of the values and principles, being comfortable talking about maybe Trump is right about a couple things. Until they do that, they're going to continue living on this socialistic, whatever regime you want to talk about in Canada. And by the way, some of the best people in the world, if you want to go have conversation, they're funny, they're loud, they're cool to be around, they're tough in their own way. And by the way, just so you know, good luck walking around anywhere here without running into Canadians. I'll get next from guys will say, Pat, I just moved from Toronto to Fort Lauderdale. How do I make friends here? I'm trying to find some family. I got a family. I got kids. I'm a businessman. I'm this, I'm that. I said, connect me. I'll introduce you to the boardroom. We'll become a member. You'll make friends. And it happens all the flipping time here. All right, let's continue. Let me get to the next story here. Next story I want to get to is Scott Jennings. And I know I'm going back to one of the stories, but I have to show you this because there's two clips I want to show. This is the fear porn that you have to be thinking about. Scott Jennings has to explain to CNN why immigration enforcement officers run smoothly in other states, but not in Minnesota. Watch this exchange here, folks. This is Scott does a clinic. Go for it.
On this new reporting that we just heard from our Kristen Holmes at the White House, that President Trump is frustrated with the messaging around his immigration efforts and wants to change the narrative. How do you see it?
Well, I'd be frustrated, too, if I were faced with this wall of propaganda every single day, and if I were faced with these recalcitrant Democrats in Minnesota who simply won't cooperate with the federal government. All over this country, states and cities all over the country, you have cooperation going on between the locals and the federal government. You don't see any chaos. You see very orderly transitions of illegal aliens into federal custody. They go into deportation. It works just fine. The only difference in Minnesota is you have Walz and Fry and Flanagan and the rest of these local Democrats who don't want to cooperate. They think that Minnesota somehow should exist in, I guess, some state of secession where federal laws don't apply to people inside the state of Minnesota. It is causing chaos, and if I were the president, I would be frustrated about that too because, narratives aside, he's the chief law enforcement officer of the United States, and he has to enforce the law in all 50 states.
Bingo.
Bingo.
Very simple. Go ahead. Cooperate. Simplify. Let's work as a team. But watch this. Jake Tapper has a guest on that's selling fear porn at the highest level. Folks, just letting you know, even Jake had to stop this guy. I don't know if he fully does or not. Rob, you know which clip I'm talking about?
Yep.
So
even Jake was stunned.
Say that again? Yeah, Jake Tapper stunned as Minnesota business owner suggests ICE agents could start putting people in ovens.
This is you're joking. This is not.
No. You have to. Rob,
AI.
Is this the clip?
Yes, sir. Hang on one
And is
second.
this from? What do you call it? From the last 48 hours?
This is the Rumble. It's on Rumble.
It's on Rumble. I'm trying to get it up, but I have two ads that I have to play. But yes, I believe this was from this weekend.
Let me see if I can't. If it's going to be a long time, Rob, we'll skip to a different story because if it's not in a different place, I'll go to a different story until this one freshens up, and we'll come back to it. So America's turning 250 this year, and by the way, we're doing something special on the 250th, 4th of July. Stay tuned. I'll announce it to you when it's ready to announce. It's going to be wild, but we're going to do a handful of special pieces of merch, limited edition numbered. Okay, this one's going to be out of 250 with the number 250. So it's numbered out of 250 for the 250-year celebration of U.S. It will not last long. Rob, play this clip. Future looks bright. We're excited about this year with all the chaos that's happening. When we break down to you what is really going on or makes sense to you. But having said that, Rob, go ahead and play this clip.
We don't just make products. We carry a legacy built on American craftsmanship, intention, and pride. 250 years of history, refined for today. Every detail tells a story. Every piece stands for who we are. This is tradition, reimagined. This is our 250 years limited edition collection. The future looks bright at 250.
Guys, this is all I'll tell you. Good luck if you sat on this one. If you wait, and by the way, for some of you guys that unfortunately will watch this afternoon because you wait for the clips, you can find the items that people buy on eBay. That'll be the only place you'll be able to get it. The hat will not last a long time. Again, it's limited merch, so it's numbered out of 250. If you go to eBay afterwards, you may find it because these things are not going to last but 30 minutes. They'll be gone in no time. Every time we do limited merch, the hat comes in a box that says Future Looks Bright and the logo, VT, right on there. So go to VTmerch.com, place your order. Go to VTmerch.com, Rob. If you could just go to the website. If you go to VTmerch.com on the cover, you'll see the 250. Get the sweater because it's cold. Get the shirt and get the hat. And if not for you, buy it for somebody else as well.
Having said that, the shield, that shield is just amazing.
It is amazing. It is amazing. It's sick. If you enjoyed this video, you want to watch more videos like this, click here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click here.